Hey everybody. Today's not going to be about metals. I had my eyes opened about some things in the last week, and I have always been very open about my health because I don't want anybody to have to go through what I have gone through since roughly May of 2020. And it has nothing to do with what happened in 2020. Uh, that was not a thing for me, even though I do work in a healthcare environment. Uh, that I actually had back before they even knew what it was. And I was down and out for about 48 hours and I was fine. But in May of 2020, I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic with high blood pressure, and some of the stuff that goes with it. Uh, the way I found out was literally overnight. I had 3 ulcers appear on the bottom of my right foot. And thanks to the God gifted hands of a foot surgeon who specializes in diabetes, I literally walked away with my foot. If that would have been 10, 15 years earlier, I would have been gone from the knee down. So since then, I have done everything the doctors have told me to do. Had to add some tools to my life to essentially keep me alive. And everything was fine until October of 2025, when I developed another ulcer on the same foot, but in a different area. Again, that same foot surgeon saved my foot. And also during that time frame, I kicked my old primary care doctor to the curb because I am not one for being used as a science experiment, which is what my old PCP was doing. When you're put on a series of medications and everything is working just fine, and then they start screwing with stuff. Oh, well, we're going to put you on this instead of this. We're going to put you on that instead of that. Now, your numbers, like your A1C, which is something you really have to watch close when you're diabetic, blood sugars. Yes, they say I have high blood pressure. Oh, blood pressure. All those numbers that were great suddenly weren't great anymore. And the more I asked questions and tried to figure out why good enough wasn't good enough, the answer was always the same. I'm the doctor. I know what's best for you. Now, I'm not knocking all doctors, because you do have some doctors that actually do care. And fortunately, in my case, that foot surgeon is one, and my new primary care doctor is one. And because of my PCP, my old PCP, I quit taking a lot of those medications because I started looking at the side effects to these medications and how many of them were affecting me personally. My old PCP didn't want to take into account my family history and put me on a medication that the very first side effect, that is very common in most everybody they give it to, causes heart failure. Oh, my mom died of heart failure. And my health has kind of gone the same direction as hers. But fortunately, now with things that have been found in modern medicine and treatments and that, I have not fallen completely into that category. I still have my eyesight. I still have everything I was born with, except for, I don't have my tonsils anymore. I don't have my gallbladder anymore. There's a muscle that I no longer have in my foot that was what saved me from losing my foot in 2020. And I've got some aftermarket parts in my neck, but then she puts me on another medication that the first side effect can cause swelling in the legs. Well, hey doc, remember I'm diabetic. One of the last things we want is swelling in the legs. And this was because she thought my medications I was already on needed help. Well, you take me off of Lantus, which is a form of insulin, and you put me on Ozempic. I come back to you and I say, doc, all this medication is doing for me is making me deathly ill. You take the shot, and an hour later, you're in the bathroom, throwing up. And like not just once or twice. And that was when I was on the minimum dose. Well, her answer to that was to put me on the maximum dose. So I refused to take it. And I'm not going to take a medication that's going to make my legs swell. And I'm not going to take a medication that can make my heart stop. And then she increased, there's a pill that they put a lot of diabetics on. It's called metformin. Oh, she increased me to 2,000 milligrams. First side effect of that is you spend a lot of time sitting on the toilet. Okay, which can cause other issues because when that happens, you can get dehydrated very, very easily. Not a good thing, because once you start getting dehydrated, it starts affecting the whole body. And basically, I quit taking all my medication, and I felt great. And then we end up back in October, and now I am back to those tools that I have no choice but to use to keep me alive, because I'm not ready to leave yet. So here's those tools that I use multiple times a day to make sure that my blood sugars are in where they're supposed to be. I've got 5 shots I take every day, a big one of this in the morning and 4 of these throughout the day to keep my blood sugar under control. That's doing great. My blood sugars are great. They're where they're supposed to be. I am not the perfect human being, and every once in a while I will grab a couple M&Ms out of a bowl of M&Ms. I don't eat the whole bowl, but I grab a couple. I might grab one of those, like during the holidays, I might grab a couple of those little miniature Reese's peanut butter cups. Just have 1 or 2, kills your urge for them, and you move on with your day. Well, my blood pressures had been great for a long time until they weren't again. So I ended up back on lisinopril. I got cleared by the surgeon to go back to work on New Year's Day, which I did. Got back to work, made a goofy faced selfie on Instagram. Was happy to be back. Everybody was happy I was back, and everything was going great. 3.5 hours into my shift, that took a huge turn, and not for the better. And pardon my expression, These little bastards almost killed me. New Year's night. It's each one is 10 milligrams of lisinopril for your blood pressure. Supposed to keep your blood pressure regulated. And mind you, I had taken this at about 10 a.m. on Thursday, New Year's Day, about 10 a.m. New Year's Day. And about 12 and a half hours later, that little bastard almost killed me. Well, you may be wondering why, how, whatever. Well, it's all about what they don't tell you. What's not in those little sheets that come from the pharmacy with your prescription. The side effects they don't tell you about. And I'm not faulting my PCP for that, because honestly, I don't think he knew. And actually, that was prescribed for me by his nurse practitioner, not him. And I don't fault her either, because sometimes these pharmaceutical companies don't lay it all out there. And I drink lots of water because I'm constantly moving. I constantly, got to stay hydrated because I got to be able to function. Well, apparently, I jokingly say I drink 10 gallons of water a day. Apparently, I should be drinking 50, because that pill dehydrated me so bad that my kidneys started functioning wrong. My heart stopped functioning properly. All of the numbers that you want as low as possible went sky high, and my blood pressure dropped to 70/29. 1 minute, I'm sitting at a desk joking around with a nurse and a tech, and I turn around to log into the computer to do my computer work that I had to do at that point in the shift. And the next thing I know, I am laying flat on my back on a gurney with a medical team over the top of me, and the doctor yelling at me, trying to wake me up. And it took a while to pull me out of it. And there are things that I kind of remember about while I was out, but I was out cold for an hour and 47 minutes. I remember somebody telling me, all right, we got you. Do this, do that. And then I don't remember anything again until somebody's telling me, all right, lay back. We got you. And the ER doc, who knows me by name, we all work together, screaming my name, trying to get me to wake up. And I woke up with multiple lines into me, pushing fluids and that. And like I said, about an hour after I hit the gurney in the ER, I finally started coming to and getting with it again and all that. But I was so messed up that I couldn't tell them who my primary care doctor was. Somebody asked me, who's your emergency contact? I don't know. Well, who's, and they said a name. I have no idea. They were asking, the name they asked me, who is so-and-so? It's my son. I couldn't even tell him my son's name. All because of that little pink pill. Now, my point of this, and I was, okay, let me back up for a second. They admitted me to the hospital. That was Thursday night, Friday morning. I spent Friday night, Saturday night in the hospital, and they discharged me late Sunday afternoon. And of course, my goofy ass was back at work on Monday. Work Monday, Tuesday, no problems. I don't have any problems now, but of course, I'm constantly drinking water to keep that from happening again. So my point of this is, if something doesn't feel right, it's not. Don't be afraid to go to the doctor, but also don't be afraid to ask questions. Advocate for yourself. Don't let them shame you for advocating for yourself. Because again, even when you're under medical care, if it doesn't feel right, it ain't right. Do your research. Research if you're looking for a new doctor, do your research. If you can, put it out there, or maybe, on social media or whatever. Maybe there's other people that go to that doctor that can say, they suck, or hey, they're a really great doctor. I love that doctor. Do your research, and it's not hard to find out if a doctor's a piece of crap, because I found out shortly after I quit going to my old PCP that she's exactly that, a piece of crap. She never wanted to listen to me, didn't want to, hey doc, this is how I feel. Well, I don't know how I feel because I'm not a doctor. If they're going to put you on medication, do your research on the medication. Don't just go off of what CVS or Walgreens or Walmart pharmacy or any of these frickin' pharmacies put on those pieces of paper, because in the full of it, a lot of these doctors and a lot of these pharmacies are getting kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies to push their meds, push their drugs on people. And as I also found out, that was a big thing with my old PCP. My current doctor, he doesn't do that. He says, I will give you what's right for you, not what the pharmaceutical company says is right for you. Obviously, he knows what's going on, and we are going to figure it out on the 21st, what we're going to do. When I see him, what we're going to do. If we've got a problem, we're going to fix it. But in the meantime, just because I really don't need to have a stroke in my future. Yeah, I'm still taking it, but I'm also drinking water by the gallon, not the liter. Just pay attention to your body. Pay attention to how you feel. And yeah, right now, I'm not telling everybody, hey, if you feel sick, go to the ER, because I work in a hospital and everybody is going to the ER right now for runny noses and sore throats and that. And that's not what the ER is for. The ER is for heart attacks, strokes, traumatic injuries, stuff that could kill you or permanently maim you. Stuffy nose, sore throat, stuff like that, tummy ache. If it's that bad, go to urgent care, but don't tie up the ERs. And also, when you walk into those ERs, have respect for the people that are there working. I see it every day where the wait time in an ER suddenly becomes the nurse's faults and the tech's faults and the doctor's faults. They can't help it when they got an ER full of ouchie boo-boos. It just so happened that Thursday night I was taken care of very quickly, because not only the fact that I was unresponsive, but people weren't crowding the ERs. Don't take for granted that tech that comes and takes your vitals and maybe starts an IV on you. Don't take for granted that nurse that's coming in to give you medication. Even when you walk into the hospital, if you encounter hospital security, and I'm not saying that because that's what I do, don't take them for granted either, because it was because of a nurse and my sergeant that were on their job and on their toes that night that I'm sitting here talking right now, because probably another 5 minutes I would have gone into cardiac arrest and maybe wouldn't be sitting here right now. So just take care of yourselves, take care of the people around you, do your research, and don't ever accept anything as good enough. Because like I said earlier, I love all of you, and I don't want any of you to go through what I've gone through, especially recently, but literally over the last 5.5, almost 6 years. Just, love you guys, and that's about all I got for you today. Be safe. If it doesn't feel right, it's not. Don't be afraid to go to the doctor. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you don't like the answers, demand proof. All right, everybody. I will see you in the next one. I know it's not metals related, not even close, but I just felt I had to say something. And we'll see you in the next one. Keep stacking, keep hunting. Got to get a little metals in there. Keep stacking, keep hunting. Stack what you like, stack what you can afford. Have fun with it. And for the love of God, be healthy, be safe. We'll see you in the next one. Mishy's out.